Okay, guys, I'm just going to be honest. I think a lot of people are really clutching at straws when it comes to Liverpool at the moment. And I'm going to explain why throughout this breakdown of the 2-1 win for Liverpool against Southampton in the EFL Cup. And it was a really fun game to watch. I love watching EFL games mainly because we end up in a position where we've watched some variation in the squad, we've watched some variation in the team, we've seen the overall principles of the coach, we've seen the coaching of the coach, we've seen some pretty impressive players in there as well. We've also seen the kind of performances those guys can put in, and we've also seen Liverpool in a competitive environment in what feels like a relative friendly. But I want to talk about all of that, some silly decisions, some crazy decisions, why we've got to back our guys in the league, and also why Crystal Palace has just taken a step up this weekend. Let's talk about all of that and more on the Laurence McKenna on LFC channel. Welcome back. If you're not already hit subscribe, please do it. 41,000. It's not bad. It's not bad. Take a look around. And of course, if you want to join us on the Discord, it's absolutely free. There's Patreon to support the work. And of course, it is a membership on this channel as well. Let's talk a little bit about I want to say just like overall feeling after the game. I think a lot of people are going to end up, again, clutching at straws of the opposition side. But I also feel a lot of Liverpool people are going to come out feeling quite negative, or at least thinking they feel quite negative about this game. Ekitike got the red card. Leone got stretched off, which I really wasn't all that happy about. We obviously scraped through against Southampton, but I actually think we were relatively comfortable for the whole game. Southampton very rarely really putting anything of any meaning together outside of hitting the bar and then a follow-up, which is kind of a weird one also. And I think really the way we treat the EFL Cup is glorified friendlies, kind of just like nice little squad rotators throughout the season. Obviously, we don't want to see people get injured. I'm gutted for Leone if that is as serious as it looks. It looks like it could be one of those kind of ACL type injuries. Before that, he was looking really confident, reading the game really well, looking big, bossing it. Maybe that's just because of his frame and his stature. And very rarely did he really look out of place. Having said that, of course, there were also moments where Southampton were completely through, but that is part of playing the game. I think at the moment, people are expecting this Liverpool side to either play flawlessly, or if there's an even slight, tiny little bit of blotting ink on the copybook, suddenly we've got to say that that is a complete travesty. And the commentary on ITV was shameful. Stephen Warnock, I think it was, in co-coms, and I was just disappointed, really, to hear this constant clutching at Liverpool want to be better than that. The moment that Isak missed, or he didn't even miss the opening opportunity, literally, the goalkeeper saved it. It was, I expect better from a striker costing 130 million. Instant pressure, instant lack of reflection. Instantly, they're trying to put pressure on Liverpool to have to win the game by more than a convincing margin, because apparently they're not up against one of the most talented young coaches. They're not up against a side who will be highly motivated to go through in this competition. They're not against a side who want to cause an upset and kind of kick on from that this season, seeing Liverpool as a bit of a big head to take. It's kind of crazy. Isak worked himself into a great position early on and showed how sharp he was from the first minute. And then after that, there was the run on the left wing that I really enjoyed, went past a couple of people, tried to get it inside. His combination play was brilliant. For a while, there was a little bit where he didn't look isolated. He just wasn't in the game because Southampton were the team trying to take it to Liverpool, and Liverpool, with a relatively inexperienced midfield and a much more defensively minded Endo, weren't really able to get on the ball. And their passing and the link-up play of the front line in the midfield wasn't really there, probably showing you how important Gravenberch, McAllister, Wirtz and Szoboszlai have been to Liverpool this season in all of the hookup play. And how if you're going to play Curtis Jones a little bit deeper, then that's what you're going to get. Or if you're going to play Leone and Jones, you need to work out what the balance is. But that takes time to find. Having said that, I still feel like Liverpool look relatively comfortable throughout the game. Of course, there are going to be moments where Southampton, against a relatively inexperienced and ungelled back line of, by the way, I thought Mamedashvili was absolutely fantastic. There's no need for us to worry anything about the succession of this Liverpool goalkeeper. That guy constantly in control of his penalty area, a constant presence. Even when we did concede the goal, I still think I wasn't really questioning him at all. But it was a really great goalkeeping performance, actually. Put in some relatively decent saves, not anything in there that I thought was incredible. But again, very, very solid, bossed the area, constantly out for crosses, constantly taking the ball. And he was behind a back line of Leone making his debut, Joe Gomez, who rarely now starts game for Liverpool, but is still a very experienced player within the team, Frimpong, who I think he's still finding his balance, but again, is looking for those moments to push on, moments to come back. And then, of course, Andy Robertson on the other side, who I think is a great captain and certainly deserves that position, but also working out where he is in this side. And I think it's probably one of the hardest positions to play: Liverpool left back, Liverpool right back. So all of that to say, really, I don't think Liverpool were all that uncomfortable in this game. We played 9 changes. And even then, even though we started a £130 million striker, I think football has slightly moved on from even 5 years ago. So whether you are now able to win a game with Roy of the Rovers up front or in midfield is a completely different idea. I can't remember the last time I thought one guy is going to win it all for Liverpool. And even then, I look at Mo Salah and think, well, one guy isn't going to win it all for Liverpool. So, there's a lot to compete with there. But having said that, I actually thought there were some really good moments. I thought Chiesa was my man of the match by a very, very long way. I thought Isak looked good. I thought Ekitike looked strong and sharp when he came on. I actually thought Frimpong was all right. I thought Leone was really good. I thought Mamashvili was good. Generally, I thought that there were some very promising moments from Rio and Gamoa, and that was part of why, when does Andy Robertson go? When does he stay? When's he underlapping? When's he overlapping? All of these different dynamics to kind of navigate in there. But again, I think all of that plays into the brilliance then of Chiesa, and the fact that we did hold on to him, the fact that we did want to keep him in this team is showing at this point why. First of all, because of experience. Secondly, his reading of the game is absolutely A1. And when I say A1, I mean this guy has an ability and an awareness that I think, without Jota in the team, and obviously, it's a complete tragedy that he isn't, rest in peace, it's not about then, well, we just need a bunch of people who can carry the ball. It's about finding people with variation and awareness. Jota was a player with awareness and variation and aggression. And never will anyone replace him. But Chiesa, with his qualities, is great variation. I love watching Chiesa's face while he plays. He's constantly got... It's almost as if he realizes the camera's on him, but I think he's just a very expressive person. And there are so many expressive, brilliant characters in this Liverpool side at this point. I really enjoy watching it. It makes it easier to connect with them, showing that passion, showing that knowing. He was brilliant for the goal for Isak. Isak's finish, by the way, fantastic at the near post, showing his elite level. Brilliant then to show the little celebration and then the other celebration as well. This guy is already bedding him really, really well. He's already just making sure that everyone knows he appreciates them, little thumbs up all the time. He's constantly getting in different situations. He's constantly rotating with other players. There's constantly someone there to do something intelligent with him. And Chiesa really is one of those guys. They love playing off the big man up front. Chiesa thrived that way while he was at Juve, and he's going to thrive that way while he's at Liverpool as well. Doesn't mean that he needs to start every game or that he needs to be in the Champions League squad or whatever. He's just a great player who will work his way into this side. And ultimately, he's a fringe squad player for rotation for this Liverpool team. So don't tell me that somehow we're in a position where, again, we need to find a way to frame it negatively. Find a way to frame it positively. There are so many people just trying to find negative framings for everything going on around Liverpool at the moment, and I just don't understand. I do understand it. It gets clicks and it gets really great coverage for them, but I don't understand it. There is no need for that. Slot is managing a squad, I'd say, very adeptly. He's showing that they're coaching depth into this side. He was talking about the progress of youth players. He was talking about the progress of his players overall and how, in bringing Rio and Gamoa into the team, a player who looks great technically, can pretty much just put the ball to one side or the other or pass the guy and then get beyond him. Again, he's going to beef up. He's still very, very young. He's going to grow. He's going to grow into his body. He's going to grow into the pace that he has, all these kind of things. So the fact he's doing this now is absolutely incredible. He's getting a few minutes in him. He looked great, bossed it out on that wing for us. And, I thought it was really great, the reference pre-match about the work and the ethic that he needs to show, as well as that young technical ability and trying to grow into that role that Gakpo and Diaz really made their own for Liverpool last year. So again, nothing but praise for him. Didn't need a goal tonight. Didn't need to, go out there and set the world alight, even though every game, obviously, you'd love for your players to do that. It was that you need to show I can play as part of a system. I can have the awareness to move the opposition around however I need to, and I need to be a ball carrier. Liverpool are really interested in ball carriers right now. That's why Balaba's family were at the stadium this evening. That's why they are currently holding meetings with a number of different teams up in the northwest. And It's why the Premier League and loads of leagues right now are so high on ball carriers. It's a very big quality, and it is something that is relatively difficult to find. Winning the ball back and then carrying it forward, difficult. Variation, being able to play in certain systems, Bournemouth, Brighton, Liverpool, all these different Premier League sides at the moment, difficult. That's why we're looking at Baleba. It's why we're looking at variation in midfield. It's why if I was Liverpool, I'd also be wondering, okay, how do we fit this guy into this midfield? Anyway, we'll talk about Baleba another Baleba video tomorrow morning, 10 a.m, promise, right? Anyway, the thing I really loved about the performance this evening was also the ethic behind it. It's our chance to look at other players. And whilst there are a lot of people trying to talk about the overall narrative at Liverpool, what I really love is to be able to drill down on Mamardashvili bossing his box. Leone looking really confident. Again, really hoping that it's not a really serious injury. But again, players are inherently brilliant. We've spent a lot of money on him. It wasn't about rushing him into the team. It's really sad that he went off in that way. And I hope he's not out for a long time. Hope he's okay. And I really hope he returns quickly, because I'm not thinking about him starting in the side. I'm thinking about us progressing and bringing him into the team. Obviously, you think about an investment, but this isn't the time to talk about that, guys. He's a young guy that we've clearly got a lot of high hopes for. And I'd imagine that if you're going to recover from a fairly serious injury anywhere, Liverpool will be the place to do it. You're literally standing alongside one of the greatest ever centre-backs who recovered from one of the hardest ever injuries to recover from. Welcome. You are in just the right place if you're going to be in this kind of area. But again, kind of shows some of the pitfalls of playing in a competition like this. Sometimes you're fresh, sometimes you're not. We don't know why people get injuries, but ultimately, it shows some of the risks of playing in a competition like this. I also wanted to see Joe Gomez. I want to get minutes in him. So if he does have to come on, if he does have to rotate him with Konate or whoever, we can do that. Brilliant. I wanted to see more minutes in Frimpong. I wanted to see more minutes in Andy Robertson. I wanted to see Andy Robertson captain the team. I wanted to see Endo get some minutes. Endo looked a little bit rusty. Ultimately, Endo was to blame for the silly, I want to call it silly, like we just didn't clear our lines against Southampton. Ultimately, they got the ball because it rebounded off Endo's head. He'll have been very disappointed with that. Kind of not very Endo-like, but tonight he was sort of diving in quite a lot. There were quite a few moments where I thought, you're definitely winning the ball back, but we're managing this well, etc., etc., etc. So there are lots of different things to kind of address there. Joe Gomez, Curtis Jones, I didn't exactly thought set the world alight tonight, but I thought was very positive in his play. Really always looked like he wanted the ball, and all of the above were kind of, good. Put it that way. And Nyoni didn't really set the world alight for me. I think it was difficult because they plugged that midfield. They knew that would be, they probably did see this starting lineup and go, hey, that's where we need to plug. Fair enough. I can't therefore say that I will make a judgment of him, mainly because, again, I think it's harsh on a young guy who is probably just growing into the team and all those kind of things. Sorry, I'm just going to bring up my lineups here. Now I want to address Hugo Ekitike. Here is a staunch defense of Ekitike, because you cannot tell me that cumulatively those two acts that he did this evening, whether you want to talk about the spirit of football, literally about the rules and the application of the rules, or the cumulative effect of those two acts tonight, do not add up to a red card. There are much more I know it's not a direct red card and all these kind of things. Those two acts are not serious enough to, and maybe that will act as a deterrent for other people. It's stupid. The guy's showing personality in a moment of brilliant celebration with a late goal. Again, people are going to feed into that, but a late goal for Liverpool. We didn't get it added on time. We scored in the 84th minute. It was just a good goal that was again created by Chiesa and Ekitike up front in a 4-4-2 style combination. All of the training, all of the shapes, all of the combination play, all of the bonding was all coming together, and we found a brilliant moment for us. Don't ruin that. He probably just had a lapse in judgment. It's not a moment of madness. It's not a moment of craziness. If anything, the rules are crazy. It's crazy that we're giving people a yellow card for that. Purely because, in the past, players have struggled to get their shirt back on for kickoff. Who cares? Who cares? No one. Now, the other one, yeah, sure, dissent, whatever you want to call it, yellow card. Get rid of that out of the game, whatever. Even then, I'm sort of like, you know what? Show a little bit of personality. We are so sanitized in modern football. It's silly. It's ill-advised, but he's a 23-year-old striker. So I can see why anyone would say, yeah, he shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. But anyone who's castigating him, calling him names, even just doing him down in general, get off his back. You're being so literal about something that doesn't need it. And yes, he will now miss the game on the weekend. Can we play Ekitike against Crystal Palace? No. Originally, the ITV commentary was saying that he would miss the next cup game, which would have been great, because who cares? But instead, he's going to miss the Palace game on the weekend, and frankly, we probably would have wanted to bring him on. I know there are a lot of people saying, well, Slot looked upset, the Liverpool training staff looked... Of course. It's not a thinking moment, and Frimpong comes over and goes, get your shirt back on or whatever. It's too late by then. The he's already seen you. All right? But don't castigate a young guy. He needs our support. We have always, as a club, loved personalities and people who rail against the system. People, I get it that it's frustrating, but back your guy. Show some support. Support is not only about when things are going well. Support is when you have a lapse in judgment. Support is when you need people around you. Support is when you stick around with your friends, when you stick around with the people you care about, when you stick around with the same people who wear the colours as you, even the people who you disagree with or have done something wrong, you stick around. That is called support. Believe me, I know. So, just going to check my notes because I want to make sure. He is out for the next game. We're going to start Isak for that game, or maybe we start Federico Chiesa. Or we won't start Jayden Danns. It was good to see Jayden Danns on the pitch. Nice little turns, nice couple of moments, but he's not going to be starting any Premier League games anytime soon. Good to see Ngamoa. I thought genuinely, I thought Chiesa put in a performance tonight where I thought you look much more robust. You look much more motivated. You look like the Chiesa that I thought we'd bought, frankly. Going around tackling everyone, pressing, being intelligent, showing the moments when it was to dive in, when it was to pull back. There was such a perfect balance to Chiesa. It's exactly why we invested the money in him. Either you're going to get great value for him next summer, or we're going to have dug up someone like a diamond in the rough there. And it feels at the moment like that diamond in the rough. A guy who stayed at the club, was convinced to stay or forced to stay, whatever you want to call it, and then ultimately a person who is still performing for us and has been part of key moments already this season. Federico Chiesa, as much as I put Isak on the thumbnail and Ekitike on the thumbnail or whoever else, it's Chiesa who should be the one getting the praise this evening. So yeah, well done to Arne Slot for keeping all these guys engaged for this period. Well done for Liverpool for getting through to the next round. We avoided penalties, which again could have been bad. Would have been interesting to see Mamardashvili doing those. And we've won again late. I don't think the narrative of this late thing is at all accurate, by the way. Scoring beyond 80 minutes is not late. They scored late, if that's the metric here. People aren't going to talk about that. They will only talk about Liverpool scoring late, only securing wins late. They'll talk about this narrative. So, guys, it's nothing. It's literally playing within the 90 minutes and understanding that over a game, teams are likely to get more tired. And if you push in those last few minutes, you'll be able to exploit that. It'd be lovely to win games in the first 45, go off at halftime 3-0 up, of course. But then also, that's not currently the style that we're able to play. And also, that's an ideal situation, which cannot happen in every game because some teams won't let you blitz them. Some teams won't let you go 3-0 up against them. So we do need this. Obviously, we don't want to be running the marathon at too much of a pace, but we do need just to be able to pace ourselves in all these games. And it's not as if Arne Slot is not a master of pace. Tonight, he outthought a brilliant young manager with less resource than him, arguably, but he did really well in that situation. And I think there are a lot of managers, Arne Slot himself has spoken about it, who acclimatise to the league and then forget about things like the EFL Cup, forget about the competition in the league or in the FA Cup or whatever it is. He constantly goes on about three things. That Nottingham Forest game, which was the one loss that he had in 2024, I think. He then goes on about PSG results. Boy, is he holding on to that. And then he goes on about work ethic and all this, and basically the cocktail of things that make work ethic. All three of those, I can't blame a manager for thinking about any of those three of those. I'll talk to you in the future about him and Diego Simeone, and him holding on to, and Diego Simeone holding on to the rivalry between them. I want that from our manager. I want personality in this side. And tonight we showed personality. It's not just about winning a game with personality. It's about being a likable, endearing, relatable team. And that's what we are, guys. For our own fans. I could care less if anyone else likes it. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think. Chiesa, man of the match for me, but equally, I think people do deserve a shout out. Endo, thought Jones was all right. Gomez, Mamadashvili, Ngumoa, and Isak. And Ekitike. Ekitike, you can have the man of the match. Anfield, by the way, loves this team. We will talk at another point about the dips and when we allow teams in. I think that I used the term rest defense the other day wrongly, and I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, guys. Poor analysis. Someone corrected me in the comments, very rightly so. If I'm going to use terms, I should fully understand what they mean, and I didn't use the term correctly, so I'm sorry. But when our team looks like we are inviting the opposition onto us in order for us to kind of recoup a bit of energy, that's when we seem to let teams back into the game. But it is also a time when I've got to admit, guys, there's times where I think this team actually looked pretty comfortable, and the commentary goes, Southampton coming back here? Oh my God, what are Liverpool going to do? Anyway, however, will they survive? We've survived so far. Maybe we won't in the future, but that's kind of football, guys. Palace on the weekend, massive stumbling block, massive names, massive bogey team for us. And of course, team we lost against recently. Hey, what will Glasner do? What will Mark Gray do? Will he score an own goal? Joking. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching the channel. Like I said earlier, there's membership down there. There is, of course, Patreon where we get a better split. There is a super chat, but there is an absolutely free Discord if you want to go join it. Go take a look at it, and I will see you guys in there. Let me know your man of the match, overall thoughts on the formation, and I will see you guys on the other side. Appreciate you. Much love. Goodbye.